Hello, Gemini. So here is a reading for your energies right now. This is general, so take what works and what doesn't work just doesn't work. But remember, always remember, you are the master of your own destinies. But let's see what the cards have to say for you. So first up, what this reading has to do with is the Queen of Wands. Then you have, in your current energies, the Eight of Pentacles. Then in your near future, you have the Magician and the High Priestess. And then your challenge right now is the Ten of Cups reversed. And what's recommended for you is a Seven of Swords. So the Queen of Wands, she's my mover and shaker. She's very confident in what she's doing, and she's able to network. She's very, I don't want to say she's fearless, but she knows the best way how she works. And she's able to kind of get out of a comfort zone, but she's very confident in feeling that she can handle any problem that comes her way. And I see her a little bit as an outside-the-box thinker sometimes. I think this reading represents something that you've been really actively working on. You might be networking, you might be trying to get certain even degrees under your belt or some kind of education or whatever it is, but you've actively been working on something. And it even could be kind of within a community, like you've been a very active player within a community. Maybe when people have problems, they come to you for help or solutions, and you're able to kind of network or guide people to the right, I don't say location, but kind of help them find what they need to help them resolve whatever problems. So I see her as a very, very positive card. She's also confident in herself, and she's not really worried what other people think, and she doesn't really care. She doesn't have time for that. She's busy on her own thing. She's busy on her own hustle. So she's not really worried as to if somebody likes it, if somebody doesn't like it. She's just focused on what she wants to do, and she's not really taking into consideration other people's, I don't want to say 2 cents, because I do think she would take other people's constructive criticism as long as it's constructive and it's valuable. But as far as what other people think, like the naysayers or kind of gossip, I don't think she has time for that. She's too busy. She's too busy getting to her own bag in a way. But what's in your current energies now is the Eight of Pentacles. And this is a very good energy, because this is about kind of honing your craft. You're honing your skill on something, working hard at something, doing it in a sense repetitively, but repetitively in the sense that each time you do it, you're trying to make it better, and you're trying to perfect it and make something nicer, something better than the product or the outcome that you had before. So it's really about learning. It's really about attention to detail. So I think this is very, very good. I think these two cards together are extremely positive, because you're willing to take the action. You're taking the action on something. You're very confident in yourself. You're confident in your abilities. You know your worth. And now you're kind of really putting this attention to detail into something and really kind of honing the craft, really trying to perfect the element. Now, what's interesting is in the near future, you have the Magician and the High Priestess. So I feel like whatever you're doing, you just know it's really meant for you. And I think you know you're going to be very successful at it, because the High Priestess, it's kind of more about your inner self, like your kind of intuition, kind of tapping within, kind of knowing that you have potential in something, and really feeling and being aware of what you want and listening to your intuition and having this like inner like gut feeling in a sense. And I think that your gut feeling within this is that you know that you have all the elements that you need to succeed, because the Magician, he's a showman, but he's going to be able to put everything together in a certain kind of way to make it all work out. So he's kind of my guy of like having different elements, different components of your life, and somehow you're going to mix it together and you're going to create something very good out of it. And I think the elements are potentially this action orientated, kind of not worrying about what somebody else is saying, you know, just maybe networking, maybe kind of being this confident, kind of learning, just being this element of like, okay, I can do this. And then actually having the persistence and the dedication and the eye that what you're working on, you're trying to perfect it. And then with the Magician, Like he's putting it all together, and I think you know you can do this. I think whatever this is, I think you know you're going to be very successful at it. But the your challenge with the Ten of Cups reversed is that you might feel like things are disharmony right now. I'm sorry about the dog. There might be some kind of disharmony right now. You might be feeling things are not quite merging or gelling properly. There might be even other people, because I feel like this is an energy of really being productive, and it has all the elements of being successful at something. So you might be getting some success. There might be something where you're really seeing that whatever you're doing has a lot of potential, or you're very good at it. And sometimes when that happens, people kind of get pissy, because people kind of get like, they get jelly, they get jealous. So I wonder if some of you are having this, and you're just, I almost feel like this is natural, because the Magician, to me, he's like a natural, he's just a natural kind of showman in a sense, you know, because the way I see him, he's kind of blending things together, but he's kind of putting on a show. But I always see him as a guy that's going to roll with the punches, because not every show is going to work out really, really great. Not every time you put something together does it work out 100%. But I always see him as being a person that's a little bit lighthearted, and maybe kind of able to make jokes at the failures, or maybe able to switch gears very quickly and effectively, and not really let it get him down as far as the act or the performance or what he's trying to do, to recognize that certain things don't work out. Well, what can you make better next time? And I think that's really strong with the Eight of Pentacles as well, because this person is doing something and they are paying attention to the details. They're having the eye of like, okay, well, this was good, but this wasn't good so much over here. So how am I going to make this part better? Like, how can I do this? And that Queen of Wands energy, she's all like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm just going to do it. It's going to be great. I have the confidence. I'm going to be networking. I'm going to be proud of myself. I'm going to let people know. And people that don't agree, they could go to hell type of thing. With this energy, I just feel like it's so positive. It's almost like you're kind of in your zone. It's kind of like in your element, that whatever you're doing, you're working towards, or whatever this represents for you, it's almost like it was meant for you, that you have all the pieces and the components available, and you're using the tools correctly and effectively to really make this something much larger, and something very, very, not just profitable, but something that you could be really proud of. Like, it's almost, I feel like this is really, really positive. And the Ten of Cups I kind of feel like in this, it might be that you're experiencing this kind of funny business from other people. There might be some type of disharmony. Some people might be jealous of what you're doing. They might see that you're very successful, or you're very natural, and maybe they're not don't have the capabilities in this certain situation, and they might be jealous. They might see that you have, like, because I feel like this is almost like a natural ability, and I think you know it. Like, I feel like this is some type of, just, you're in your element, especially with the High Priestess, and I think you have this gut feeling. You just know that whatever this is that this is just really going to work out for you. And I think you might be getting a little bit backlash. Because I really feel like, because to me, this is you being very confident and very focused. But I feel like this Ten of Pentacles and Ten of Cups in reverse, with this disharmony, I feel like it's maybe with those around you that might not be agreeing 100% with your dream or your vision. Maybe you're doing something a little different than what's traditional in your family, or what's kind of traditional period. But I just feel that, because I wonder if some of you, this is I don't want to say you starting your own business, or somehow starting something a little bit different, because the Queen of Wands, she's very action orientated, but she's not the type that necessarily is going with what has been done before. Like, she could potentially make her own way. And same with the Magician. The Magician is kind of that card of having multiple directions, multiple ways of doing something, and just choosing the best path for him. So it's not necessarily as going in the footsteps of those before you. It's almost like trailblazing. You're making your own path. You know, you're chopping down the weeds or whatever. You're going into the bush, you know? So I kind of feel like this is that type of energy, and you might be getting a little bit backlash from other people. But what's recommended with you with the Seven of Swords here is to be strategic. Now, I like the Seven of Swords. I really like the Seven of Swords. To me, I always see it as a card of strategy. It's trying to review a situation. Is there a better way to do something? This could even be that maybe you have to, I don't want to say work in silence right now, but maybe not tell everybody everything, because the swords have to do with your thoughts. And I definitely think that whatever this is, I definitely think that this is very big, and I think it's something that you were almost like meant to do, and I really feel like you were meant to do this, and I think you're going to be good at this, because these cards together just are very, very positive, extremely positive. And whatever this Ten of Cups in reverse here represents for you with this disharmony, this, relationships breaking down, this kind of things not gelling, I think you might have to just be very strategic with what you say to people right now. You might have to work in silence a little bit, because you don't want other people almost getting in the way of not only of your happiness, but whatever this is, because you're definitely working on something. You don't want other people kind of tainting it, So I think you might have to figure out some of the details, because the Magician, he's still trying to figure out how to make this come to life. Like, he's still in that phase as well. But with the High Priestess, I think you just know it's going to work out, but you might have to play around with it a little bit. And sometimes within that, you have failures. Even the Eight of Pentacles, he might do something, it might not be quite right, might not look that good, so he has to do it again. And that's what he's doing. He's constantly working on it. So you might be in the beginning phases, in a sense, or even if this was something you've been doing a long time, you might be deciding to try it a different kind of way, or take it in a different type of direction. And I think you might have to be a little bit strategic. But this also, to me, because I get this sometimes when it represents that there's something out there that could potentially help you work through this a little bit more effectively as well. So sometimes I get that with this card, is that there's some type of help that could be made available that you need to find. And this also could be saying, because the Ten of Cups is here in reverse, that you might have to be aware if somebody is working against you. And I hate saying it like that, but because the Ten of Cups is here, and I feel like this is some other energy, this is not necessarily your energy, but you're dealing with this type of energy, and because this is recommended, so this could indicate that you might have to be aware if somebody's being a little deceitful to you. You might have to be aware if there's like some kind of deception going on, or somebody's working against you a little bit. I'm not saying they are, but this is something that, especially because this is just so positive, and this is really big. This is like big for me. I feel like this is really big right now. But you have to make sure that maybe not tell everybody everything, because if they are working against you, you don't want them to know every little detail. It's none of their business if they're going to be like that. But this also, to me, this could be saying that you have to look at different options and different ways of doing something, because that's what the Magician's going to do. And even the Eight of Pentacles, he's going to kind of retweak what he needs to. But the Magician now is going to take certain things of the Eight of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands, because she's very networky. She's very kind of out and open and willing to try different things. But now the Magician is going to take all these different aspects of yourself and aspects that you've been learning and working on, and he's going to blend them all together to create something much, much better. So let's see what else we get with the cards for you. You guys got some crazy stuff here. So this is, I think whatever this is, it's really big, and I think this is going to be good for you and good for the long run. Now, first up, we have Sandpiper Spirit, be playful. And I really think that's going with this energy here. I think the Queen of Wands, to me, she's very playful. I think she's willing to be playful. She's willing to try things in a different kind of way and have fun with stuff. And the Eight of Pentacles, I think with this and the Magician, I think sometimes as you're doing things and when you're trying to figure out the best way to kind of put it all together, sometimes you need to come at things with a little bit of fun. Sometimes I love the pages in a reading because they are students. You don't have any pages here, but they always are reminding you to always look at something maybe with fresh eyes. Sometimes as we get older or we've done something a million times, we start to look at it one kind of way, and that way almost becomes the only way we do something. Whereas if we continue to play around with it, continue to be open to different ways, we start to realize there's many different kind of ways to do something. So, and sometimes certain other ways are much better. So I think this is saying, as you're doing this, be playful, have fun with it. And I think even the playfulness could be if you're experiencing some kind of difficulties with those around you, some type of relationships. This could be in work. This could be in anything. You'll know what it is for you, that you need to still kind of ground yourself, have those moments of fun, because I don't think you don't want to let this disharmony that's potentially going on to taint this, because I think this is actually something that you really enjoy, and I think it's something that you're really meant to do, and so you know you're meant to do it. You feel it in your gut, because the High Priestess here is saying that somehow you're going to put all this together, and in your gut, you know this is what you should do. This is something that's really deep down, almost like you were born for this type of stuff. So, and I think you just need to be a little bit playful right now. So that's important. Now you have appetite. Get out of your comfort zone. And the Queen of Wands, she's definitely out of her comfort zone. So, and I think even with the Eight of Pentacles, because he's very attention to detail, but I could kind of see him almost getting, he's so attention to detail that he almost gets very, could potentially get really kind of stuck in a certain kind of way of doing something because he feels like it's the best. But sometimes you always have to have that playful energy and try things in different ways, because you might be able to streamline certain things a little bit better. And even the Magician is about getting out of a comfort zone. It's about kind of like pushing past limits. Now, the High Priestess could represent, I don't want to say inner anxieties, because it could be like, you know, you're meant to do something, but you might have these, I don't want to say fears, but it might be not quite what inside your inner self feels comfortable with. But I think that you are going to be getting out of your comfort zone. I just think you need to try it, because the Queen of Wands, she is not worried about comfort zones. No. This lady's going to do it. She's going to do it. So I think you just need to continue to push outside your comfort zone. And because the 10 of Cups in reverse could be people almost saying, oh, you're not going to manage, you're not going to be able to do it, this is not going to work out. So it could be almost like keeping you in a certain comfort zone that you've known or you're in currently. But I think with this, you really need to push past that. You need to kind of have fun with it. And you could even be playfully getting out of a comfort zone. It doesn't need to be like you have to just jump out there all at once. You can kind of stick a toe in something, see how it goes. Sometimes you just got to stick a toe in, see how it goes. Do a little bit, see how it is, get comfortable with that, and then do a little more, get comfortable with that, and you slowly, you become out of your comfort zone. Next up, you have wedding rings. And then you have, let's go with these ones. You have wedding rings here. Union, wedding, married, soul connection, eternal love, everlasting promise. You have wedding. This situation involves marriage. And you have passion. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. Now, for some of you, this could represent a relationship, but I also think that this could also represent something that you are just know is right for you. Sometimes, in a sense, if you choose a career, you get married to the career. If you choose a hobby, you become married to the hobby. Maybe you're an avid yoga person and you want to become a yoga instructor, and you just know you were meant to teach the yoga to others, and you know you're just gonna be really good at it, and it becomes like a passion. It becomes something that you're now married to because you're dedicating your time. It's not always great, it's not always easy, but you're willing to put the work in. You're willing to commit yourself to that. So the wedding and the wedding rings, it could represent a relationship, absolutely, or this could just represent something that you're going to now be investing potentially the rest of your life in. It could be something that you just really feel like you were meant for. So it could also represent business, hobbies, passion project, anything like that. Something that you're committing to, something that you're no longer dating, but you're like ready to commit to financially, time, the long haul type of stuff. So, and I think this is saying that you need to continue with your passions, because I really feel like you just know this is meant for you. And this is something that's really, really good. And if you think about it, sometimes when you have relationships and weddings, you always have those people that don't agree with it. You know, there's the people here the naysayers. Maybe they don't like it. They don't like the person you want to marry, or they don't like the situation you want to get involved in. Because I definitely feel like this is more long haul energy. This is long term stuff. This is not just something that's going to be gone in 6 months. This is something that you're really committing to for a very long term. So you always have that. You always have, when people find somebody and they're very happy with, or even a situation that they're very happy with, sometimes you have people that are jealous. They just kind of don't want not that they don't want to see you happy, but maybe they're not happy themselves, so they kind of put that on you, you know? So you need to kind of be aware of that. But I think whatever this is here, I definitely think it's, it's very good. I think it's very, very, has a lot of potential here. So next up for your little Bob Ross, we have be so very light, be a gentle whisper. Now, I wonder if this is kind of going with this 10 of Cups in reverse. Like, let's say if you have the naysayers, you have some kind of disharmony amongst those around you, or there's some kind of like disconnect in a sense. I wonder if in your mind, it should just be like a gentle whisper. Don't let it linger. Don't let it sink in. Don't let it soak into your brain. Let it kind of flutter away. Let those words or whatever they're saying just kind of come through one ear, out the other, like a gentle whisper. You barely even heard it. You didn't hear that person talking smack about what you're doing, or the person that you love or whatever. It's just kind of like fluttered by. You're like, oh, like almost like a haunting, you know, like a horror movie. Sometimes you think you heard a noise, but did you really hear the noise? You might have to come at some of this energy with this 10 of Cups in reverse like that. Like, was that a creak? Was that a footstep in the distance? No, maybe it was just the cat type of thing. So you might have to kind of come at it like that. Anyway, so then you have eternity. Give yourself permission to slow down. It's funny because you have the wedding and you have all this kind of stuff. This is definitely for the long haul. And I think it's okay that even if it goes a little slower, because you might be doing something, you know it's right, and then maybe other people are saying, oh, you're doing this, but you're not really getting the results so quickly. It's not working out. Why are you continuing to do that? It's not really working out. But I think that it is working out. I think you know it's working out. I think your gut's telling you that it's going to work out. You just have to kind of figure out the pieces. You got to put them all together. But I think also you need to be able to take a step back. Because I wonder for some of you, I don't want to say this if this is like kind of all-encompassing, because I think it's something you're very passionate about or something that you feel like you're committing to. But I think sometimes if you need to take a break or you need to take a minute, take a minute. Because it's funny, because sometimes when I take a minute away from something, if I'm working and trying to hone a certain skill, and if I feel a little bit stressed out or overwhelmed, if I take like some time off from that, when I go back to it, I do it better. Because I do it in a different way, and it seems to work out better. So sometimes if you need to take a little bit of a break, you take that break. And this could also be that you might need to give yourself permission to, I don't want to say not deal with certain people. Like if there's certain naysayers or negative people, you might have to just give yourself permission that maybe they've been in your life for a long time, and maybe they'll be in your life for a very long time, but maybe you got to slow that friendship down a little bit. Maybe you got to push the brakes on that a little bit because you don't need their negative crap, especially if some of them might be, I don't want to say working against you, but maybe if they're kind of a little bit sneaky people, you might not need that. You might need to just focus on what you're doing, but you might need to slow certain aspects of your life down that's not really like benefiting you. Or if you just need to take a break to kind of recharge your batteries, take that break. So next up, we have foundation. Foundation is what the castle of your soul is built upon, and this is the root chakra. And this is very important because the root chakra all has to do with kind of your sense of security, you know, sense of being grounded, connected to even other people, and just a sense of safety in a sense. So I really feel like whatever this is a foundation. I think it's something that you're really going to build upon. I think it's something that you're committing to. And anytime you build a foundation, let's say with this castle here, it doesn't build overnight. So even with this, give yourself permission to slow down. Whatever this is, whatever you're doing, whatever you're building, whatever you're kind of trying to create, it's not going to happen overnight. This is something that I think you're committed to the long term. And I think you need to have that mindset. Stay passionate with it. But if things are not going as quickly as you like, because I know I'm impatient personally, it's okay. Don't listen to these people if they're trying to give you their 2 cents where nobody asked for their 2 cents. And just be patient with it, and just know that you're building a foundation right now. And sometimes you might misput a block, and sometimes you might have to take the block off and put a different block on. But each time you do that, you're really building upon something. So one thing at a time, and you're going to be building this, whatever this represents for you. I think it's really going to be good. And then next up we have, today I am adventurous. Today I will get out of my comfort zone and try something I've never tried before. And here's another card of getting out of your comfort zone. Where was the other one? Hold on a second here. We had get out of your comfort zone here. So here's another card of getting out of your comfort zone. So I definitely think, because the Queen of Wands, like I said, she doesn't have comfort zone. She's like, she does what she wants. So she's not worried about it. But I think you just need to continue to kind of play with this idea or whatever this represents, continue to kind of build upon it, continue to kind of do your thing. And every time you face a challenge, I think this is like an opportunity for you to kind of grow beyond that. So if you face a challenge or you have an obstacle, don't see it as it's telling me to stop. See it as, okay, well, you know what? I got to expand more. I got to figure this out. I got to kind of do what I need to do to make it work. So see it as an opportunity. And that'll help you get out of your comfort zone as well. So then we have, let's do this one first. These two first. Don't tell me the sky's the limit when there are footprints on the moon. And I wonder if this is really going with this 10 of Cups here in reverse. Maybe there's people who are telling you that, oh, you're dreaming too big, or you're not capable of doing this. This is not going to work out for you. But I think you need to just continue to shoot for the stars, shoot for your big goal. So don't listen to anybody that's trying to tell you that the limit is you're at a certain limit or there's a certain limit and you're never going to push past that. I think you definitely need to keep continuing to push past that, because I'm guaranteeing you, with whatever this represents, you probably see other people that have the world, have the stars, have the moon, have the galaxy. And why can't you have that? Why can't you have that? So if they did it, you can do it too. You got to have that attitude. And then next up we have, if you are not the hero of your own story, then you're missing the whole point. And I think this is extremely positive here, because this is really great. And I think this is something that you need to remind, if other people around you can't be kind of in your corner and cheering you on, you need to be your own hero. You can't expect somebody else to save you, because I feel like in this situation, I don't want to be like, there's no one coming to save you, Geminis. You're it. I don't want to say it like that, but I think that you might be getting a little bit of a backlash, or there's a little bit like, people having a certain kind of feeling towards whatever you're doing here. But I think at this point, you need to remind yourself that you're here to save yourself, because the Queen of Wands, she's saving herself. She does not have time to wait for a man, anybody, any hero. She doesn't have time. This woman is going to get herself out of the situation. In fact, she might even save the hero that does come up, just in case he has a battle, because all the heroes always have a battle, right? That's part of being a hero. She's going to save his ass too. So she's going to save herself, she's going to save the other people, and she's going to save him as well. So I think you need to have that kind of attitude, that you need to just be your own hero, and you're going to have an amazing story to tell, like an amazing success story. All the greats always had stories of trials and tribulations and how they overcame them. They were up against the corner or the wall. There was no way out, and they somehow made it through. That's what makes a great story. And I feel like you're in this, you have everything here to make an amazing story. And you probably will become an inspiration to somebody else. So I think that's absolutely wonderful. Okay. Now we have, what do we have here? Cheers to enjoying life, you're welcome. And this says, chop wood, carry vodka. And this is saying, I like that. Okay. Sometimes you got to get down and dirty. So sometimes you got to chop your own wood. Sorry about the dog. Sometimes you have to... Jesse! Come on, honey. Quiet. Sometimes you have to chop your own wood. And sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes you got to go through the trenches. But the carry vodka, it says sometimes you just got to relax. After you chop the wood, take some time. Do something to relax. Do something to kind of get yourself out of that situation. And if it so happens to be a little bit of a vodka, it so happens to be vodka. But it doesn't have to be alcoholic beverages. It could be, maybe having a spa day or soaking your feet or something, or just Netflix and chilling, So you'll know for yourself. And next up, for your stress relief and self-care card, you have breathing space, objective, mindful breathing practice. Get comfortable and close your eyes. Set aside at least 1 or 2 minutes for this exercise. Set your timer and focus solely on your breathing. Notice how the air feels as it enters your nose and how your chest feels as it slowly expands. Hold the breath for a moment and then slowly release it through pursed lips. Count to 1 every time you inhale and count to 2 every time you exhale, and keep repeating. Counting helps focus the mind. Notice how much calmer you feel after only a short mindful breathing practice. Let me read that again. Count to 1 every time you inhale and 2 every time you exhale, and keep repeating. Counting helps focus the mind. Notice how calmer you feel after only a short mindful breathing practice. So this is really important. I think this is really positive because obviously I think you're very much actively, mentally, physically kind of involved right now. And sometimes taking a moment to breathe and even permission to slow down. If you're feeling overwhelmed, give yourself permission to slow down. Take a minute to breathe. Take a minute to kind of refocus yourself and kind of re-energize, because I think this is going to take a while to really get to the level that you're trying to push it with whatever this represents. But I think you absolutely have everything that I think you're capable of it, because with the Magician and the High Priestess, and I think you know you're capable of it. I don't think I need to tell you that you're capable of it. But I think this is saying that you might need to take a moment within this to regroup. So next up, for your spirit of the dish that shall be with you during this time, you have the spirit of the King of Sides, which is the spirit of the mac and cheese. Now, for the dinner and a movie, you have action films, which is going with this be your own hero. See, here you are. If you're not the hero of your own story, then you're missing the point. You got to be your own hero. So you have action films. So that might help you get in the mode of being your own hero. And you have Italian food. And for the energies that you either need to tap into or be aware of, you have Taurus here. And Taurus is all about love, money, and powers of attraction. But I see them as a very, I don't want to say persistent sign, but they're not, if you think of the bull, he's not easily moved. He's not moving if he doesn't want to move. Like, he's kind of there. Like, nobody's picking that thing up. There's nobody that's going to come and be like, okay, I'm going to go just lift this bull and I'm going to move him out of the way. He's staying. If he wants to stay there, he's staying there. So I think it's a sign of a little bit, maybe it could be a little stubborn. It could be a little bit of needing to stand your ground, really being rooted in standing your ground. And it's also, to me, they're very much in it for the long haul. They know something takes time. It's maybe every day. You have to do a little bit of it every day. And eventually you build upon the foundation to get to where it is. So it's also a very patient sign. I see it as a very patient sign and very, not just wanting the finer things in life, but willing to build something to get to really their end goal. So you might have to keep that in mind, that it might take a while, but you have to stay fixed and you have to stay with it. And you also have Scorpio here, and this is about transformation and major changes. So some of you might really be going through some type of transformation. And I see Scorpios of almost like, I don't want to say doing shadow work, but they kind of have that kind of like, I don't want to say they're willing to explore their darker feelings, but I see it as a sign that's willing to kind of look within, but not always look within with the pretty stuff. Really be aware of some of the negative attributes you might have or some of the negative things that you might be facing. So, and kind of really analyze how is that affecting you now, even certain situations of the past. So there might be something that you need to face, especially because you got this kind of get out of your comfort zone thing. Sometimes we need to really transform ourselves and become the person that we were meant to be or who we want to be. But through that, you have to really face your fears and you have to face certain things that make you uncomfortable, and you have to get out of your comfort zone, because you got that twice here and you got it somewhere else too. You got it somewhere else. Where was it? I know you got it somewhere else. Hold on a second here. Hey, here we go. and get out of my comfort zone. So I wonder if you might have to face certain things, or even kind of, I don't say acknowledge certain situations of the past, but things that didn't quite, some stuff that might still be haunting you, you might have to face or deal with it to really push past. So I definitely think that's very good energy for right now as well. So now also you have 2 Plutos here, and this is also about transformation and major changes, also with that kind of Scorpion energy. So I think this is, especially because you got 3 things, especially the 2 Plutos coming up, I think you're really having to, you're in this transformation process. And sometimes, I hate to say it, sometimes when we transform, we have to change, and sometimes people that might have started with us on a journey, they might not be there by the end of the journey. I hate to say it that way. If there's certain people that are not really positive for you, or just kind of, yeah. Sometimes relationships change as well as we transform. So now you have the 3rd house, which represents community, intellect, communication, and relationships. Oh, I moved that. Sorry. And then you have the 6th house, which represents health, detail, order, work, and structure. And then you have the number 3, which is an odd number. So that means today the special guest that will be answering your questions, Geminis, will be the Magic 8 Ball. Think of those questions. He'll be out here shortly. So we have F. Oh, I just moved that. FAWFJH 545. Oh, and you have the Swan. So what do they say about the ugly duckling? Don't they say that the ugly duckling grew up to be a beautiful swan? So I think you just have to remind yourself that you're going to turn, you might feel like an ugly duckling in a sense, or new at something. You're still trying to figure out your footing. You're still trying to figure out your style or what you're doing. But I think your end goal is to become this swan. So, and to do that, the swan, he has to go through his travels of life. Like, he has to try things, and he has to almost shed his skin or his feathers. Like, as he grows, I guess they shed the feathers. So you might be shedding things, and underneath is like this beautiful, your inner swan coming out, or you're going to turn into this swan. It just takes time, and you have to go through a process. So that's how I get with this swan here. And you have health. And I think this is saying that it either could be that you kind of, some of you might be working on something that is regarding your health with this. It could be a health industry type of thing. Or it could be you have to, as you're doing this, because I feel like whatever this is with this wedding here and passion, wedding rings, this is a longer term thing. And with this, even with this taking time, you might have to always prioritize doing healthy things for yourself, because I don't think this is going to be easy. I think it's something that you're going to be very good at, but anytime we do anything, there's always some troubleshooting involved. So you might have to make sure that you're remaining healthy through it. This is mind, body, soul, whatever it is, and that you're engaging even in healthy relationships, because with the 10 of Cups in reverse here, even with this major changes, you might have to just surround yourself with stuff that it's really supporting you in a sense. Okay, so now here he is. Now think of those questions, Geminis, and it is time to ask. Oh, mystical, magical 8 Ball, the mightiest ball of all the balls in the world. What is the answer to Gemini's question? It says, yes, definitely. There you go. The 8 Ball has spoken. I hope you all have a wonderful week, month, year, life, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.